Hi, I'm Undersheriff Korey Brown. I'm filling in on the podcast today, and today we're going to talk about the Senior Citizen Academy that we're running currently. And my guests today are Deputy Todd Thurston, who was just on the podcast talking about our Community Engagement Deputies. We have Jan Guldbeck, who's here to talk about what it's like to actually go through the academy. And then none of these things work if we don't work with different towns and different rec centers. So we have Joel Freeman here to talk about what he does for the Penfield Rec Center and then how he helps make this happen. So with that, I'm going to just let Deputy Todd Thurston introduce himself again and just say a little bit about what he does and how he got involved in this part.
Okay, good to be back. It's been a couple of weeks. Deputy Thurston with the Sheriff's Office. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about community engagement, and this is kind of one of the topics or programs that we offer through community engagement, the Senior Citizens Academy here at the Sheriff's Office. What we look to do is reach out to one of our local rec centers, offer an invitation for an 8-week program with the Sheriff's Office. 1 day a week, we will meet with senior citizens who register for the class free of charge and go over different topics, see different things within the Sheriff's Office, different bureaus. A couple weeks ago, we met with the Sheriff and command staff and went over the different bureaus and the bureau chiefs. Last week, we visited the jail. Some of our upcoming events are going to be visit the courts. We're going to visit the public safety training facility where we all go through the academy. We're going to visit the 911 center. One of our other events is going to be out at our fleet garage where we meet with our spec ops and all of our different specialized units. So that's pretty interesting as well for the seniors. And our final day, the 8th week, will be a graduation ceremony with the seniors downtown here.
Excellent. I used to run this when I worked for the city, and I just found that it really gives such a great idea of what the Sheriff's Office does and what it's like to be in the Sheriff's Office. People really don't know until you are able to go through something like this. I'm going to turn it over to Joel Freeman just to say a little bit about where he's coming from and what he does and how he helps set this up.
At Penfield Rec, we have the DEAR program, which is Daily Education at Rec, run by Pam. And what we do is we look for opportunities that the seniors would want to do. So most of the time there's classes that they're taking. So right now there's a class being run about famous crimes through history. So they're looking at all, like how the FBI got started.
That's awesome.
And then in the afternoon we're going to look at myth and mythology or whatever about Rochester. And so they're going to look at different things that Rochester has done. And so this is like one of those other topics that we can offer and opportunities. Last year, we also went to see a bunch of dairy farms. So whatever really interests the seniors is something that we want to offer and do. And we're hoping that they learn.
We're really trying to be more exciting than the dairy farms, Jan. That's really our goal, is to be a little bit more exciting. I can't promise, but...
I don't know. What they told me about the dairy farms is pretty interesting.
How long have you been with the Penfield Rec Center?
I've been working at the pool for the last 20 years. I've moved over to the office a year ago.
Okay. So how does somebody get involved if they want to start participating in some of the programs that you mentioned? How would they plug into that?
Well, every season, like winter, spring, summer, and fall, we have a brochure that goes out that has all of the programs from the little kids to the seniors program, and they register through the website or come into Penfield Recreation office, and we can register them for those opportunities. Now, once you get into the DEAR program, if you're really, really excited and you're like, ooh, I want to talk about, then you present that idea to a board, and there's like about 10 of the senior citizens that go, I think we'll go to that. That sounds like a fun time. So like in the in the winter, January through March, I did a history of science class that people were like, yeah, I think that would be interesting. And so then they came and attended and told me if it was interesting or not and what I could do to make it better. But so there's a lot of different opportunities, but if you are interested in participating, if you go to penfieldrec.org, you can get to the DEAR program.
I have to ask you, how big is pickleball in this program? Because I feel like it's just exploding all over. We were thinking about adding it to the academy, but...
Currently, we have like one pickleball court, and so but that's also in our gym, so it's used for a lot of different things. But it's a very competitive program to get into. It is so popular that we're adding, I want to say 8 to 10 courts over at Shadow Pines, which is a property that the town bought from the golf course, and we're adding things to it like a disc golf course that's like really great disc golf, but they're going to put in outdoor pickleball courts over there.
I'm amazed at how many people play and how that's been going. Jan, you look like a player, so
My
I'll
husband's
shift
a
it over to
teacher.
you.
He's an instructor,
See?
pickleball instructor. I have played, but I don't play currently.
So Jan, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up going to this Senior Citizen Academy?
Well, I've lived in Penfield for about 20 years. I retired about 18 years ago, and retirees are always looking for things to do. But it wasn't until about 5 or 6 years ago I discovered deer, and I've taken several courses. I take anything where there's a movie during the day. So currently I'm signed up for 2 movie programs, one on Friday, I think, and maybe one on Thursdays. I'm doing something now called Mindful Stitchery. What the heck is that? It's about 20 people, they're all women, who are interested in needlework, hand needlework, not machines. So we get together once a week and we do needlework together. Applique work, quilting. I'm doing a counted cross stitch. And it's called Mindful because it's offered by Deer, but the person who's running it is a graduate student at Nazareth University, and she's getting her degree in art therapy. So I thought, well, that sounds interesting, art therapy. It's mostly just women sitting around and talking.
So that
and
sounds
it's a lot of
quite
fun.
a bit different than the Senior Citizen Academy. How did you decide to do that also?
Well, just like anybody else, my interests are diverse, you know. And my husband had talked it up years ago, saying, oh my God, this is great. And I said, well, gee, it's being offered again, I'll do it. And then he signed up again. So that's how I ended up. And I'm free on, when is it offered anyway?
Thursday.
Thursdays. I'm free on Thursday mornings. They pick us up at 8 o'clock sharp. And you ride in a police van, which is white, and it's the kind of van you used to see by the sides of the road where inmates, IIs, were picking up garbage.
That's at the end of the academy, but yeah.
Oh, we get to do it at the end of the academy? Anyway, it's an experience. It's very interesting for me. I'm interested in the vision statement of the Sheriff's Department.
Right.
Or the, what else is it called? The vision statement or the purpose statement, let's call it. And I'm wondering about the difference between the Sheriff's Office and the different police departments around. I'm in Penfield where there's no police department. So if I call 911, I would automatically get help from the sheriffs, right?
That is correct.
But how about if I lived in Brighton and I called 911? Would I get the sheriff or would I get the police department? And what's the difference between the two?
Sure. So, I think there's 10 or 11 police departments around the county.
Mm-hmm.
And so they respond if you call 911. So if you're in the city and you call 911, Rochester Police Department shows up. If you're in Brighton, you call 911, Brighton shows up. Same with Brockport, Greece, all the Fairport, all the towns. So all the towns that have no police department, the sheriff fills in for. So we are your police department in Penfield. So when you call,
So your goals would really be quite similar or the same.
yes,
Maintain public safety.
keep the community safe.
Yeah.
And so we're constantly patrolling Penfield. So where there's a town with no police department, we put patrols out, and that's what we're staffing that. So we have people that are in Penfield. We have multiple cars that are assigned there that are constantly patrolling Penfield. Have you ever worked in Penfield?
I have. So, generally, we have 2 or 3 cars assigned to the town of Penfield 24/7.
One thing that surprised me was learning how many people are employed by the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Was it over 1,000?
It is. It's a
Over
huge
1,000.
organization. And what's so different about the sheriff's office from police departments?
Yeah, what is that?
So we have a road patrol, and that's one of our functions. So as we talked about the bureaus, there's a road patrol bureau. We also have a jail bureau, which is huge. That's our biggest bureau, and we have to run an entire little city that I'm sure you walked through the other day, where you have to do everything for all the incarcerated individuals that are in there. So we have a jail bureau.
Some people are there for years.
Some of them
depending
could be
on
there
court.
usually up to a year. Once in a while, if they're waiting a trial, it can be longer than that, but up to a year. But a lot of them they're very short. They're there from a day to 15 days as they're coming in and out. So there's a huge amount of cycling that goes through. And then we're also responsible for the civil bureau, which people don't think about, but we're mandated by the state constitution to have a civil bureau, and they're the arm of the court. So when the court says you have to do something, you have to provide this money, you have to give your car back, you have to leave your house, the civil bureau will come in and be the enforcement for the courts. And then we have the court bureau, which oversees the actual courts themselves for everybody coming in and leaving the courts. And then we have a staff services bureau that really does all the administrative functions. They're like the catch-all to make sure that all the other bureaus can do their jobs, from training and hiring to backgrounds and all of those things. So unlike all the different police departments, we have the civil bureau, the court bureau, and the jail bureau, which they just don't have.
So they would refer a lot of stuff to the sheriffs, wouldn't they? I mean, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so if somebody goes in jail in Monroe County, they come to the Monroe County Jail. So none of the individual police departments have it.
Well, then what part does the court, there's a courtroom at the Penfield Community Center. It's part of the same building, but at a separate entrance. So that's the Penfield courts, right? Now, is that a sheriff deal, or is that a...
So every town has their own court and their
Yeah.
own judges. And so we would bring someone out there, and then they would be transported. If
Okay.
they're remanded, they would be transported after to the Monroe County Jail
Okay.
from Penfield, or issued appearance ticket, or whatever happens.
Okay, so you work with the court system.
Very closely,
Yeah.
very closely. So do you want to just go over a little bit more about what actually happens at the academy, and any plans for future academies, and if someone wanted to go in the future, and things that you've done already? And
Right, so we have some upcoming events. Like I said, we met a couple weeks ago downtown, administrative staff and the bureau chiefs, right? Last week we went to the jail, did a tour of the jail, met command staff there as well. Like I said, upcoming events, we're going to the public safety training facility where we go through the academy. You will meet a lot of interesting people there as well. We're going to our fleet management area out on Paul Road, where you'll meet a lot of specialized deputies, regarding our hostage negotiation, our canine, our mounted units, SWAT team members, our scuba members. And we'll have the drone set up as well, so you get to meet the deputies who operate those specialized units.
Did you say drone unit?
A drone unit, yes. I don't know if you
Looking
wanna
forward to hearing about
Speak
that.
onto the drone, about the drone unit?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
yeah, so we have a full-time drone unit, and then we have operators that are not actually in the drone unit. Certainly, times are changing, and they're changing quickly. So I would like to say that we have one of the best drone units in New York State from any law enforcement agencies. We work very closely with other departments. We work with the city police department all the time. But drones can just be vital for finding people, right? So when you go to a scene, or somebody's missing, and so you put a drone up to help find people that are hiding in the woods or lost in the woods and things like that. Not to mention, as we're talking about the future, we're looking at drone as a first responder. So the goal would be to place drones throughout the county in different locations, and then when a job comes in, the drone can be launched remotely and sent to that location before any law enforcement arrives, to help give directions about if there's an accident scene, how bad the accident is, or if traffic needs to be backed up. But to get on scene within a minute or two, instead of the time it takes to actually drive there. So there's a lot of opportunities with drones in the future that are going to be coming down the road in the future.
Now, the helicopter I saw over my house the other day, that has nothing to do with law enforcement, does it?
So the sheriff's office does not have a helicopter. The state police have a helicopter, and Border Patrol have helicopters.
Oh, so it could have been.
I do not know which one was over your house, but so we don't have one. But if we need one, we would call the state police, and then they would
Okay.
put the helicopter in the air. So, and that's the wonderful thing about drones, is it really gives us an opportunity where you don't need the helicopter.
Yeah.
You can just use the drone to help
Wow.
locate people. So, it's amazing. In the past 6 years, we've had a drone unit, and we also got a bloodhound. Because bloodhounds find people, right? That's what they do. They track people. They're unbelievably far advanced from all the other dogs that we have as when it comes to tracking people. They don't track the same way. I remember when I was on patrol, if you would have a scene, you had to keep it from getting contaminated because you didn't want a lot of people walking through the scene, because then the dogs couldn't pick up on it. Doesn't matter with a bloodhound. You give them one scent and they track that scent. So we've had tremendous success with our bloodhound in finding missing people, finding some people that are suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's that have gotten lost, some kids that have gotten lost. Bloodhounds are just a tremendous asset because they can just track people well after the person has gone through, because they're tracking a specific scent. with the drone, so when we use the two in combination, it really ups the game about how quickly we can find people and get people assistance that they need.
That's different from a drug sniffer.
It is different from a drug sniffer. The bloodhound's job is just to find people. That's all they do.
Find live people.
Find people, 5 live people, yes.
Well, if you gave it a scent from my sweater and you were looking for me, it would find me whether I was alive or dead, actually.
Yeah, so I guess we have different dogs that would be cadaver dogs, that we don't actually own any cadaver dogs that we would use, that find just people that are deceased, and they don't need the initial scent. They're looking for the scent of the deceased person.
So one of our events too will be, or visits will be A-Zone, where you'll get to meet investigators, you'll get to meet the road patrol deputies that work day-to-day patrol operations. We plan on going over the layout of the sheriff's office. You'll meet the captain, who is also the driver of your bus, and we want to talk about the scams and get information out there about scams, senior citizen scams. And like I said, our day-to-day functions and operations, any questions you guys may have for us, what we do throughout the day. So we're looking forward to that too as well.
We use these because we're always trying to find ways to reach out to the community and get involved in the community. So as we're reaching out to rec centers or people in different community groups, where we're looking for new ways that we can work together and coordinate with each other just to establish relationships. Because most times I found that people, if you don't have a law enforcement member that you're friends with or that you're related to, you don't have a chance to ask questions of, right? You just see them driving by in the car, or God forbid, it's the only time you meet them is when they pull you over or when you're the victim of a crime. So we're really looking for new opportunities that we can be involved when nothing is going on, just to come in and answer questions. So I'm sure at the rec center there's untapped opportunities where we could help get involved and just meet different people and realize that we're all the same, right? We're all trying to do the same thing, go to work, provide for our families, have a safe community. And so how do we find different opportunities to interject and interact with people and be part of their lives? And that is especially what the Senior Citizen Academy is to show you exactly what we do, let you answer lots of questions. And then our goal is that you're going to go back to the community and tell other people, well, I went to that and this is what they do, or this is why that happens.
I would think the Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts would be interested in
They do.
programs.
They reach out to us quite a bit, and we offer tours of A-Zone, or depending on where their troop is at, we'll absolutely involve them, bring them in for tours of the zone, let them see our cars. The parents usually come with them. The parents, question and answer. We'll bring in one of the K-9 units for the kids to see the dogs. So yes, we do reach out to the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts.
They probably get a badge of some kind.
They do. We have some different things for them, different things to hand out, stickers, pens, pencils, and stuff like that, too, and they absolutely love it, for sure.
Yeah.
Jen, what's the thing you're most excited to learn about the Sheriff's Office as you're going into this academy, and you still have a lot to go?
Well, I'm really looking forward to meeting the dogs, actually. I'm a dog lover myself, but I have a lab. Do you have labs or only bloodhounds?
So we only have one bloodhound.
Oh, you have one bloodhound.
I don't know if we've had a lab in the past. I'm not positive if we have one now. We usually, we don't use them as patrol dogs, but we could use a lab, would be like a TSA dogs that work just at the airport.
Yeah, I was going to say, I get sniffed by dogs a lot because I fly. So I'm looking forward to that. Everything's been kind of a surprise to me. I mean, the size, as I said, over 1,000 people work here. They're throughout the county, but still, it's a big organization.
Yes, it's a huge organization. It's the largest law enforcement organization in the community.
Yeah. Oh, bigger than the state police even.
No, just in Monroe County.
Yeah,
State police
okay.
have more people throughout the state.
And they don't have 1,000 state police in Monroe County.
They definitely do not have 1,000 state police in Monroe County.
We'd be
that
tripping.
That would be a lot of state police vehicles in the county.
That'd be a lot of uniforms. A lot of donuts.
It would be a lot of donuts, which I'm really disappointed that you did not bring. You apparently did not see that direction, so we'll have to talk about that later.
Before I'm Mirandized.
Anything else you're looking forward to? It's funny, when we talk about posting a picture of one of the dogs on Twitter, we know it's going to get a lot of reactions.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
react the most
Yeah.
to dogs
Yeah.
and animals.
Yeah.
Those are
Well,
some of
I'm
our
looking
biggest
forward to
stories
meeting the
every year.
horses too, of course.
Are they coming out to the...
Yep, they'll be there for the Spec Ops Day, Special
Yeah.
Operations Day.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to hearing more about the SWAT team.
So during that day, our visitation will include deputies. They'll be right there for you to ask all the questions you want. They're specialized deputies, and that's their assignment, is to work in those specialized units. So they'll have all the answers for you.
It's amazing all the special teams that we do have, and I think that's one of the differences too.
Yeah,
between
like the
us
scuba
and-
team.
We're responsible for all the bodies of water in Monroe County. So the city has a scuba team also, and they do the river.
Yeah.
And so we do everything outside the river in the county. So in Irondequoit Bay, even though it's between Irondequoit and Webster, the sheriff's office is responsible for the bay. So anything
Wow.
that happens on the bay, we're responsible for, and that's why we have a marine unit. So we're patrolling the bay and the lake and responding to anything that may come up.
Busy season coming up for that.
It is definitely the busy season coming up for that. It's a great time though, and I always say that's a great job to work in the Marine unit. We have a lot of retirees that work there, and that it's like their specialty, and they get to go out in the boat all summer and be
Yeah.
out on the lake. Now some days when it's really cold, not so good because it's windy
And cold.
but some days it's just beautiful days, and the lake can get packed. The bay and the lake,
Yeah.
especially on the holidays and the weekends, it can get really busy. So we want to make sure that we're out there to help anyone that needs it and keep everyone safe.
I'm sure you keep busy.
There is always something in the county.
Mhm.
Always something in the county. So what other programs do you have coming up for deer?
Oh, for deer? Well, we're going to be moving from the community center over to the Dolomite Lodge for the summer, starting in mid-June, because the summer camp programs are going to be taking over the community center pretty soon, because we have a lot of campers coming into the center. But a lot of lectures coming up. There's a couple trips that they're doing. Are you on any of the other bus trips?
No, I'm not.
So we do have some bus trips that are going out to like Buffalo to tour some museums and the such. One of the favorites in the fall is they go down to, my brain just fell. But there's a restaurant down in the big park. With the red-
Glen Iris
Glen Iris.
Glen
Yeah,
Iris.
they go down to Glen
in
Iris.
Letchworth.
And they tour. They've been down to the Air Museum in Hammondsport. A lot of different things that are coming up. Every Monday, Tuesday, we do a lunch counter. Thursdays, we do a lunch lecture. So we serve a lunch, and then there's a lecture afterwards. So if you guys ever want to come in and do a lecture, we'll give you
That
a
would be a
lunch,
great idea.
and then you can do a lecture on whatever you guys want. And
There's something coming up on scams.
yeah, so we do. Yeah, there's somebody
in the
presenting.
DARE program.
Yeah, they're
So I
doing
think that's a
computer science.
great segue. I don't know, Deputy Thurston, you want to just talk a little about some of the major scams that are going around now and how people can protect themselves?
Well, when in doubt, it's probably too good to be true, right? That's what we try to tell people. We still have the grandson, granddaughter scam going on, where they'll call you and pretend to be an attorney or pretend to be a police officer and try to get you to go out and buy gift cards and send gift cards for the courts or for an attorney representation. Over the past few weeks, with tax season going on, we've also had tax scams where they've called you and pretended to be the IRS, trying to get you to go and buy gift cards to send back to them, and that's how they're making their money. But those are the general ones that we have going on right now.
Have you heard anything about the AI ones?
I have not.
Where-
We actually had our communications director, someone, because she used to be on the news, someone used her voice and called, I believe it was her grandmother, and so it was her talking. So
To her grandmother?
it sounded like it, saying that someone was hurt and that they needed money, or that she was hurt, and they used her voice. So with the AI scams, you could even be talking to somebody and it sounds exactly like your loved one, and it is not that person. So I think some really key, easy takeaways is whenever somebody says don't tell anyone, they're not on the up and up, right? No one is trying to keep secrets. Whenever they ask you to go get gift cards or to
Yeah.
pay any other way than you would normally pay online at the actual website where you go to it yourself, anytime anybody does anything like that, it is certainly a scam.
And I know we're telling some of the seniors that if you get those kind of scams, say, hold on a second, I'll call you right back, hang up, and then call
Your loved one.
Call your loved one. Always verify it. Call a loved one.
instead of taking the phone call and then accepting it as true.
But sometimes you can't call your loved one because it's your college student daughter who's in Italy for the summer, and she wants money, but you can't call her because you don't have a way to call her.
Okay.
That happened to us, actually. I wasn't scammed because I knew it was a scam, but years ago, my husband and I were acquainted with some LPGA golfers, some young women who were coming to town to play golf, and we had one of them stay with us for a couple of years. She stayed with us for a week at a time for the tournament. And then several years later, she called us and said, I'm in Istanbul and I'm stuck. I've lost my passport and all my money. Could you wire me money? And it was her voice. It sounded like her voice, but it wasn't AI. It just sounded like her voice. She was not Chinese. She was Taiwanese, so there was a little bit of an accent. So it certainly sounded like our friend. I mean, she had turned out to be our friend. But she said she was stuck in Istanbul with no money. And Dick, luckily, my smart husband said, because I was tempted, because she was a nice young woman. And he said, she's surrounded by other rich golfers, is what he said. Well, I don't know how rich the rookies are on the LPGA team, but he said if she needs money, she's with other golfers. They could help her. She can stay in someone else's hotel room. They'll share their food.
And that is how they pull on your heartstrings, right?
Yeah.
They try to get you to make a decision quickly based on a need perceive a need that has to be done right away. And so those are definitely things you always want to watch out for. And you always want to bounce it off someone else and talk to someone else. You know, I've had this with my mother a couple of times, and so she'll ask, and you always want to just reach out to someone else. And it's also like Todd said, if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. No one's sending you money. No one's giving you $1,000 for you to get back $400. They're just taking your money. So, and no one's asking for gift cards. I'm amazed at the amount of people that go buy gift cards. There is no legitimate process where they're asking you for gift cards. So, and their scams are always evolving and always coming around. So I think anything else about the Senior Citizens Academy before we go to the No Miranda Zone?
No, I think we're all set. Do you have any questions?
Well, I'm learning every time I come, every time I tour, so I'll have more questions.
All right, so this is a good one for you, Jan. Name something that never goes out of style no matter how much time passes.
Donuts.
Donuts, right? You really like the donuts.
Never goes out of style. They never go out of style. They're always good.
Joel, what's the last book you read?
Ooh, that's a good one. It's going to be pretty sad. I read Magnus Chase. To keep up with my daughters. Yeah. And then their books after that got really, really complicated.
What's Magnus Chase?
Percy Jackson.
She's a detective.
No. Percy Jackson is you start with the Greeks, and then you go to the Roman gods, and then Magnus Chase is about the Norse gods. So Rick Jordan wrote all these books, so middle schoolers will find old mythology exciting again, which I never, I was like Odysseus, you read it and you're like, okay, and you're pulling out all this facts, but he took Odysseus and just rewrote it into
Percy Jackson is the author?
Nope. No. Rick Jordan's the author.
Just a great opportunity to stay in touch with what your kids are doing and kind of see what they're doing and do some reading that you probably normally wouldn't do.
Yeah, when my daughter started reading War and Peace, I was like, I'm not following you.
And then I think we'll end it with Jan's favorite question. Todd, what is your favorite donut?
So I'll go with Jan's answer. All of them.
All of them. Well, thank you very much for coming here, and we're looking forward to completing the Senior Academy, and hope you have a great time.
Thank you.